What's up guys, my name is Ryan and I recently returned from exploring Norway's Lofoten Islands and I want to share with you my favorite places and experiences, so here's my Lofoten Top 10. Located above the Arctic Circle, Lofoten is an archipelago home to some of Norway's most beautiful places. With towering sea mountains, pristine beaches, and world-class hikes, Lofoten is waiting to be experienced. Let's start this video off at Henningsvær. Located near the middle of Lofoten, Henningsvær is this incredibly scenic fishing village that is built on a few islands connected by bridges. The most famous feature of Henningsvær is its soccer field. It's built on the edge of one of the islands, and I think it's one of the most scenic soccer fields not only in Norway, but the world. I didn't bring a soccer ball, but it was just fun to walk around the field. People were training and doing their exercises, and it was just a nice vibe there. Also enjoyed just strolling around Henningsvær. It's about as idyllic as Norwegian fishing villages come. We wanted to get a different view of Henningsvær, so we did the hike to Festvågtind. I say this was one of the hardest hikes we did in Lofoten. It's only about a 2.4 kilometer hike, but the elevation gain of 500 meters is what made it hard. Now to start, we parked and walked along the road until we got to the beginning of the hike. It was a steep uphill climb with nice views to look back on. About a third of the way, you get to this flat spot, and it had this nice lake people were swimming in. After that, the hardest ascent starts. It's a difficult scramble to the top that took us about 40 minutes to get up there. And once you're on the top, it was a flat ridge walk to the summit. You get great views of the islands at Henningsvær. We were here late noon and the sun was pretty harsh, but I'm sure sunrise or sunset here would look amazing with the lighting. Aside from the views of Henningsvær, the surrounding mountains were just stunning. They were so jagged and rose straight up from the sea. If you're near Henningsvær and want a challenging but rewarding hike, this is a great one to do. After, we're going to head to Svolvær. Located about a 30-minute drive from Henningsvær, Svolvær is the capital of the Lofoten Islands and it's the biggest city in the archipelago. The reason I wanted to come here was the hike to the Devil's Gate. It's a fairly short hike of 2.9 kilometers, but once again there's a steep elevation gain of about 400 meters. Now the trail starts off with some stone stairs and you get great views of Svolvær on the way up. One of the main reasons I wanted to do this hike was to see the Svolvær Vita. It's this stone pinnacle that has this unique shape with two stone prongs on the top, and it's popular for rock climbers. We didn't climb it that day, but it would be a cool activity to go hire a climbing guide to go do. After, we kept on going along the trail, and at the end there's this last set of steps that looks like you're going on the stairs to Mordor. Once we reached the top, we got a view of the Devil's Door. I got on top of it, it was a little sketch. After, I hiked a little above to get a view of the surrounding mountains. I mean, the area is just so stunning. I'm sure it looks absolutely amazing when it's sunny. Now if you want to keep hiking up the trail, you go to the summit of Flakstad. It adds about another kilometer of hiking and more elevation gain, but you get incredible 360 views of the area around Svolvær. After, we're going to take a break from hiking and head to the beach to visit Vik. Located about 15 minutes from the town of Leknes, Vik Beach is one of the most scenic beaches in Lofoten. It has white sand and crystal clear turquoise water. I mean, it just blows my mind that places like this exist in the Arctic Circle. When people are swimming and enjoying the beach, it really feels like you're in the Caribbean or something without palm trees and warm water. I'm just mad at myself for not bringing a swimsuit. Anyways, right next to Vik is Haukland, which is another nice beach area to visit. Also, if you don't want to chill on the beach, you can do some hiking to some nearby peaks such as Mannen to get some amazing views of this area. After, we're going to visit Ramberg. Located about 30 minutes from Leknes, Ramberg is this beautiful village with about 350 people living there. It also has a beautiful beach with white sands and crystal clear waters that a lot of people were enjoying while we were here. What I really like about Ramberg is that it's close to a lot of amazing places. Just up the road is Flakstad. It's this beautiful area full of farming fields and incredible coastline. There's a nice beach there, which is a popular place for people to put their camper vans, and it's an ideal spot to surf when the waves are right. Now if you keep going up the road, there's this bay that you drive along that I believe is called Flakstad Polen, and it has such unique colored water that goes from light to dark blue. The surrounding mountains here are also just insane. Now from there you can turn into this super scenic road which have these dramatic mountains as a backdrop, and then from there you can drive to Newsfjord, which is another nice fishing village. Another incredible place near Ramberg is the sea bridges that go towards Fredvang. These bridges were built in 1988 and they offer an epic backdrop with the Vollansten mountain in the background. There's just so much beauty in this area. Afterwards, we're going to visit my favorite place in Lofoten, Kvalvika Beach. I came here 6 years ago and I've been wanting to come back ever since. There's a few starting places to hike into the beach, but the place we parked was about a 10 minutes drive from Ramberg. Now it's about a 4-kilometer round trip hike to the beach, and the first part is fairly easy. You walk on these wooden planks over the muddy section, and when we started it was cloudy and fairly dark, but as we were going over the saddle at the midway point, we got the first glimpses of the sun and beach, and I just couldn't believe the view. The sun was descending beneath the clouds, and I knew we were in for one of the most epic sunsets. As we hiked down, I just couldn't believe the view. There was a good amount of people camping. I can't think of a more epic campsite. Everything was lit up by the setting sun, and I couldn't have asked for better conditions. We walked along the beach until we got to this rocky section, and it was a nice place to sit and watch the sunset. What's nice about the sunsets in the Arctic Circle is that they last extra long. After about an hour, the sun went behind some clouds, and the area turned into this pink and purple color. It was just absolutely magical. It was definitely my favorite memory from our time in Lofoten. After, we're going to visit some more of Lofoten villages and head to located about a 40-minute drive from Ramberg. is the furthest south you can drive on Lofoten Islands. It's this beautiful little fishing village. When we got there, we walked out to this viewpoint, and it has some great views of the sea mountains to the south. I also really enjoyed walking through the village. There's a nice pier you can go on to get a scenic view of all the red fishing houses. Now after, we're going to visit the village of Hamnøy. Located about 20 minutes from Hamnøy is located in one of the most beautiful and famous parts of the Lofoten Islands. This area is full of incredible sea mountains coupled with iconic red fishing houses. There isn't a whole lot to do in Hamnøy, but I walked onto the sea bridge and it offers the famous view of the village. Now just a few minutes from Hamnøy is Reine. Of all the towns and villages in Norway, I think this is the most picturesque. When I think of Norway, this is what I imagine. It was founded as a trading post in 1743, and today about 300 people live there. My favorite feature of Reine is the perfectly placed mountain called Stetind. It creates for one of the most epic backdrops of all time. One of the most popular things to do in Reine and Lofoten in general is to make the hike to Reinebringen. This was the hike I was most excited to do. To get to Reinebringen, you can park in Reine's harbor, where there's also some parking places on the road. From there, we walked along the highway and we started the hike. It's only about a 2.1 kilometer round trip trek, but the ascent is no joke, with nearly 2,000 stone steps that were built by Sherpas from Nepal. After about 50 minutes, we made it to the top. Our legs were burning, but the views up there were well worth it. You get a perfect panoramic view of the fjord, villages, and sea mountains. If you come during the months of June and July, this is an insane place to experience the midnight sun. We stayed up here for a good hour enjoying the sunset and other world views. If you're in Lofoten and are able to hike, you gotta come experience the scenery of Reinebringen. Well, that is it for my places to visit in Lofoten, but I also want to include some bonus spots that you can go to while you're in northern Norway. The first is Stetind Mountain. Now if you're flying out of Narvik, it's just an hour drive away from the city. Stetind is Norway's national mountain, and I have to say it's one of the most unique peaks I've ever seen. For us to get there, we left Lofoten and made the long 6-hour drive there. I was hoping to catch the sunset, and we got there just in time. Now the sun was lighting up the top of Stetind with this beautiful glow, and the whole area was just stunning. I love how the road is built perfectly to line up with the mountain. I'm so glad we made the drive to come there. Another beautiful place to visit in northern Norway is Segla. It's located on the island of Senja. It just adds a few more hours of driving to visit. We drove to the town of Fjordard and we started the hike. We did the trail to Heston since that offers the best view of Segla. The hike definitely wasn't easy, just a lot of elevation gain, but it's doable. When we reached Heston, we were rewarded with a great view of Segla. It's another one of Norway's most unique shaped mountains, and this whole area is just insane. There's massive cliffs that dive into the sea. When I was here about 6 years ago, I slept on the cliffs waiting for the northern lights, and it ended up being one of the most magical experiences of my life. This time around, I didn't spend the night, but it was fun to experience this area during the daytime. If you're in northern Norway, it's definitely worth the extra time to visit this place. After Segla, we needed to head back to Tromsø, so we decided to take the route that had a ferry that would take us near the village of Sommarøy. Now Sommarøy is located about an hour from Tromsø, and it's this village with tons of islands, and I was just in awe of its beauty. I can't believe places this beautiful exist, especially in the Arctic Circle. While I was here, I was just thinking that Norway is simply one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Very few places can compare. I would have loved to come to Sommarøy earlier in the day to see how the water looked, but it sure looked epic for sunset. It was a perfect place to end our time in Norway. Well, that is it for my Lofoten and northern Norway video. There's still so many places I couldn't visit on this trip, so I will be back for part 2. Let me know where your favorite place is in the comments below. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at shirley.films. It's Ryan, and we will see you later.